It is 9:30. Good morning, everyone. Today is February the 22nd. I cannot believe we are already at the end of February. Um, I'm just want to start off by saying I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody had a great week as best as they could. I know it was kind of a crazy week that we had, pretty unexpected, unprecedented. But I think we all learned a lot about being prepared, needing to be prepared, and then just the fact that how wonderful and how nice and just how great people have been, how well our community kind of just came together and really started helping each other out. All my neighbors came and checked on us. We checked on other people, and it was just the thing to do, right? Everybody really came together, and that made me happy. Um, as horrible as things got for some people, a lot of good came out of it, I feel, and that's how I'm taking last week. It just really made me think about how one grateful I am to have the family and community that I have. It also made me realize how prepared slash unprepared we were for this whole thing, and how that was going to make me want to prepare more for the future, and not just not just with this whole pandemic and this whole freeze, but with everything else in my life, right? How are we going to prepare? How are we going to forward think, and how are we going to keep preparing for the unknowns of life, right? Because everybody knew what was happening. Everybody saw that we were going to be in the freeze for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We all knew what was going on. We all knew that we were going to be below freezing temperatures. But being down here in South Texas, we really didn't understand the full extent, um, of what that would look like, right? So a lot of us kind of just put it off, and we're like, you know what, we're just gonna ride it out, and we're gonna figure it out as it comes. And unfortunately, a lot of people went and didn't make it through, and weren't prepared. And even so, even though we thought we knew we had it all under control and we knew we were going to make it out of this, and none of us knew we were going to lose power. None of us knew we were going to run out of water. And how does that translate into the rest of our lives, right? And how are we not preparing for the future? How are we not getting ourselves in the best possible scenarios so that we win and so that we get out of these things on top? I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean I have to bust my ass in the beginning of the year so that I know by December, January, and times are slow and work is slow, that I am prepared and I am ready to kind of wait those couple months where there's no deals coming in? Or does that mean keeping a power station or keeping something in the back of my truck in the case my battery fails, right? Just it really, for me, made me think that, I just need to be prepared more, right? Be prepared, save, be cautious, go out and do as much as you can while you can, because again, tomorrow is not promised. We all saw that this past week, and it is a huge wake up call for a lot of people. But in light of that, I'm super happy. All of our agents and everybody who I personally know and think are all good. Everybody's great. A lot of our agents reached out to each other and were helpful and were wonderful. And I thank you all for all reaching out and helping out as much as y'all can. Um, but back in the real estate world, title companies were all closed last week. So if you had a closing, it is now getting pushed to this week. If you had option periods, if you had appraisals, none of them happened last week because nobody could get out, nobody could do anything. So if you had a closing, if you had a deal going through, it's all pushed to this week. I had two last week, but now we're moving on. However, everything's looking good. I am also still a little bit under the weather after a crazy week. Friday rolled around and then I started coughing and sneezing. And so if I have to blow my nose during this session, that's what's going on. I'm not in the best um, headspace right now. So if I ramble, if I go on, it's just because I have a little pressure. But other than that, I'm good. I'm ready to get back to work. I have a couple closings this week, which I'm really happy about. I hope y'all are having a great day, a great start to your new week, because it is a brand new week, it is a brand new day, and it is another time to just keep preparing and starting ourselves on the right path for prosperity. Along with that, guys, I want to. I know 2 weeks ago, I know last week we didn't have a conference call because I had no internet. Um, I wanted to talk about Cole Realty Resource again and how we can utilize that in our business. And what that is we purchased a platform called Cole Realty Resource, and what it is it's a phone directory. So what it is you can go and download unlimited amounts of lists from neighborhoods around town. Honestly, you can download or you can get phone numbers from neighborhoods around Texas. So if you wanted to start cold calling people in Austin, Dallas, Houston, Amarillo, wherever you wanted to find listings and to find buyers, you can. And then how you would use that is you would call them, find out their interest, see if they want to buy or sell, and then find a local agent and set up a referral agreement. You don't actually have to go conduct that business. Just go and set up a referral agreement. It's an amazing resource. I've gotten referrals from Kentucky. I've gotten them from Corpus. I've gotten them from Dallas. I've sent out things as well. Super easy. Just Google. I mean, like everybody else does, a local agent in the area. Call them, vet them out a little bit, see if they're a right fit for the client, and you can make money doing that, right? If the market in our market is a little too saturated and you feel like you may have a better chance of finding a listing or finding a buyer in another city, do that and then just refer it out to another agent and make 25% of the commission. Super easy, nothing you have to do. And if not, then just focus here in San Antonio. Find a neighborhood that you really enjoy, that you feel like is a great price point for you, and just start making those phone calls. Start making those lists. We have pretty much a company level wide subscription to it, so you can download as much or as little numbers as you want, and it is there for you. You typically get a phone, an email, their address. So if you wanted to do mailers, if you wanted to just cold call, if you wanted to send them emails, definitely something to do. I would also maybe invest in an auto dialer, if that's something you really want to do and hit the phones hard. An auto dialer would be definitely beneficial. I believe Mojo Dialer is about $100 a month, and if that's something y'all wanted to do to really progress y'all's calls and your capture rate, that would be something 100% I would advise you to do. But the lists are there for you for your benefit. I sent some of y'all the links already. I will send the rest of y'all links here shortly. But I just wanted to talk about how to utilize it, right? So one, open houses. I'm gonna host an open house this weekend, say, and what I want to do is I want to call everybody in that neighborhood. Hey, this is so and so with Adapt Realty Group. I just wanted to inform you that I'm hosting an open house in your neighborhood, and I just wanted to see if you or anybody you know is interested in buying or selling in your neighborhood. And the most reason why we do this is because we all want our friends, we all want our family living close to us, right? So if I know my my brother or my sister is looking to buy a house, I want them to live close to me, right? My brother's my next door neighbor, and I love it. It's awesome. It's awesome having family next door to each other, because especially as we experienced last week, I could rely on them. They had eggs, they had bread, we had this, we had that, right? We were able to just kind of still be a family unit. And my mom lives 2 blocks up the street, so when things came south, I even told my mom and my brother this the other day. I was just so grateful that we do live in such close proximity, because if we had to drive 30-40 minutes to go see each other, it would have been much different scenario, right? So yeah, so open houses. If you have a new listing, if you've just closed on a house, call that neighborhood. Hey, I just wanted to inform you that so and so property on your block just sold, and it sold for top dollar. It sold for the highest price point in your market. And it sold for this. Are you by chance interested in, perhaps selling or gaining the equity that you have in your home? Right? Just really finding a way to make these phone calls, um, or if it's just to prospect and say, hey, do you know how much equity you have in your property? You don't have any listings, you don't have an open house coming in, but just get on the phones and call. That is going to be the main thing. I know a lot of people don't like doing cold calling, and it's one of those things that, oh, well, it's just not for me, but it needs to be, right, guys? I mean, right now, especially in this market, there is slim pickings. Everybody is fighting for listings. Everybody is fighting for buyers. And the only way you're going to stay ahead is by being that agent that is doing everything, and not being that agent that just, what, I don't want to do that. I'll wait. I'll find a client. I'll find something soon, and I'll just keep waiting until things happen, right? But I think what we've learned this past week is we can't wait, guys. We can't wait for things to just happen, because when we wait for things to happen, that's when bad things happen, right? If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Wait, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's the one. And so that's really what I've kind of taken out of this week, is really just planning, figuring it out, getting yourself prepared, whether that's financially, location wise, house wise, supplies, money, whatever it is, right? Just prepare. And one thing I was super fortunate about is I love camping, right? I love camping. I like going out. And we were fortunate enough to still have, gas cans and propane and camping equipment, lanterns and whatnot. And we survived. We did pretty well. Um, and I'm glad the rest of y'all did as well. I know it was pretty tough, but that was just my really hit home kind of tidbit for me, was just, we have to prepare. We have to get ready. We have to prepare. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, right? Um, Other than that, what else is going on right now? Yeah, everybody's just kind of getting back in the swing of things. Contracts I'm seeing are getting moved out again. Also, we also need to start moving to the new contracts. That was another thing we need to talk about. March, I think by March 1st, everything that is under contract and that is on the old contracts needs to be switched over to a new contract. So all of those contracts that are on the old 1 to 4 need to be switched over, if we are under contract on anything, into the new one, I believe by March 1st. So that's one thing we need to start getting on everybody. And I will send out another email reminder later, is those new contracts are getting used. So if you haven't seen the training video that we posted, I think, I don't know, end of January, I believe, about the new changes and how to fill out those new changes, please watch that video. And if not, all the new contracts are on zip forms. If you need us to go and change out the template for you, please let us know. We can grab your login and do it for you. But if you know how, just download it in, set it as a new template, just take all the old fields from the other one and make it your new one. But other than that, we need to start using the new contracts really as of today, because by the time March turns around, we're gonna have to redo them anyway. And that was other the main thing. Let's see, what else? Hold on, excuse me, guys. Sorry. Yeah, haven't been feeling the best this week, but it's all right. I want to pass it on, Mr. Luis. How are you? How is everything going? I know you had some delays this week. Tell us a little bit about your delays.
Well, just pretty much.
You're on mute, buddy.
Wait. Can you hear me now?
Oh no, I was. I'm sorry. Oops.
Okay. Yeah, no, I had an option period that we just needed extended, and then the listing agent was really helpful, and she let me extend it for another 6 more days. We're coming up with an expansion in Wednesday, I believe it is, and yeah, we're good on track. And I'm doing a little bit of cold calling for expired listings and canceled listings this morning. So yeah,
Cool. How's that been? How has the feedback been from people?
I mean, ish, give or take, you know what, for me, I think that one of the hardest things is like the data that because I do have my platform, which is yours, the one that you gave us, and I have another one that is called My Plus Leads. And with that one, I've been getting a little bit more better data, right? Like in real phone numbers, like for the people that I'm actually calling,
Mhm.
right? So I've been getting that, and some of the phone numbers work and some of the others don't work. And the ones that they work, they told me that they're going to call me later, or they are busy right now. But I mean, it's just, it is what it is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just getting back out there and see and try.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. Miss Sherry, how are you? How are the puppies? How's I know you have a closing today, right?
Yeah, finally, Park Lane. That one's been what, about 2 years going on and off,
Yeah.
just
That
waiting
one's
for them to,
been a doozy for sure.
yeah. Well, most of it was they wanted to wait until their house was pristine before they would put it on the market. And then
For
when they
sure.
did, COVID hit, had to wait. And then we had 2 VA loans that were never went through because of the lenders. So this last one was a VA, and we took it, but they switched to convention.
Oh, good.
So that's why we're closing, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
But
why is that? Why did the VA loans keep getting cut out? Was it just because of the condition of the home, or?
well, I found out the first time, not the first time, the second time, the agent sent over the home or the inspection report to the lender
Mhm.
by accident through his transaction coordinator.
Uh,
Everything, we were supposed to close, and then literally 3 days before we closed, we got a new list from the VA lender saying we had all of these repairs that had to be, and they were just ridiculous. I don't know if I sent it to you, but
yeah.
we got notification 3 days before we were going to close that they're not going to close until all of these repairs got, because they received the home warranty inspection, or not the home warranty, but the home inspection. Never send it to the lender. That's what I learned. They do not get that report. So I'm hyper aware of that now.
Yeah.
And the buyer's agent, when I finally figured out what had happened,
Mhm.
I went to him and I told him, and he said, oh my gosh, my transaction coordinator just slipped it on the back. It was included in a long PDF
Mhm.
with the amendment, and for repairs or whatever. And she attached it.
Mhm.
And so that's just one thing I learned through that transaction. And so we said, well, we're not going to do those repairs. And
Yeah.
that,
It takes one time, one slip up, and it makes the world of difference. I mean,
oh
you
my
guys,
gosh. And
please
it
don't.
wasn't even me. That's what I
No,
was
I
like,
know that.
oh,
I know
yeah.
that, and that's the thing as the listing side, as the buy side, we have to coach either side. I mean, we don't know
No.
how young, how green, how awesome they are, and in the sense, if they are great agents, their transaction coordinator still might make a mistake,
Yeah.
right? So we have to just kind of coach people along the way. And if you don't know a question, ask the other agent, ask somebody. Do I send this? Do I not send this? Of course, ask me. I will always tell you, don't send that inspection report to the lender, because
Yeah.
that is
I
just,
never have. It's just, I
yeah,
learned that though.
it's a shot in the foot.
But actually when it happened, I was like, oh, that's not a big deal. And then I put 2 and 2 together and I was like, oh my gosh, that is a big deal. You don't. And then I called the other lender that I work with, and he was like, no, even if I see it come across, they delete it. They
Yeah.
won't even open it, because once they do, they have to send it to their underwriter.
Correct.
So yeah, it was a good lesson. But then I put it right back on the market. The good news is that I was able to get more money, because then it was in a multi,
Yeah.
offer situation. And I actually ended up getting them like 20,000 more in their net. So
Wow.
they were,
Great.
my clients are happy.
Yeah, of
But
course. I mean, everything works out for a reason, right? So
yeah,
we all just need to know and find the reasons why things happen to us, and learn from them, and hope for the best.
yep,
That's literally all we can do, is instead of life happening to us, life happens for us. And
yeah,
why did this happen to me, and what is it trying to teach me, and
right,
what am I supposed to learn from this
right.
event, right? And I think there's been a lot of learning experiences in that one transaction for you.
Yeah. Well, that whole, I've had 4 transactions with this property.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each one I learned something new, and it was out of my control. A lot of it was out of my control. And if I had not learned to be flexible and do what you just said, look back and say, okay. And thankfully I have clients that are beautiful
Yeah.
clients. You couldn't have asked for better clients. So anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
I was lucky.
That also helps. That also
Yeah,
definitely
that helps
helps.
a lot.
Miss Marta, how are you? Are you able to talk? Hello? I see you unmuted. You're unmuting yourself. Unmuting. Okay, yeah, she's muting and unmuting herself, but we don't hear you, Marta, but it's all right. Sorry, guys. Well, other than that, guys, it seems like y'all are doing great. I'm seeing a lot of contracts go through the DocuSign emails, so y'all are pushing it. And I'm more than happy and ecstatic for you guys. This year is going to be a great year. Obviously, we have already had a rough start, but what we can do is continue to prepare, and that is kind of just the message for this week: is continue to prepare in all aspects of your life, because tomorrow is not promised. We have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. So all we can do is focus on what we're going to do today to make sure that we're making it tomorrow. Oh, Marta's iPhone, we're admitting you again. Okay, connecting. Okay, can you hear us now, Miss Marta? Or are you able to talk now?
Hello.
Hey, there you are.
Hey, sorry about that. I had to allow my microphone access to join with audio. So sorry about
Gotcha.
that.
It's okay.
Took me a little bit. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. You know, last week was a dud and I was under the weather too. So everything kind of hit a big pause button, but there's a couple things going on. I'm working on one with you.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get that one moving, and then just, you know, trying to work with the slim pickings in the market right now. There's an investor client that I'm searching for, so I was sending her some listings today. So hopefully we can get some traction there. But
What is she looking for, Miss Marta?
So she's looking for a single family, you know, of course, like most investors are looking for that under $100 square feet mark, but as you know, those are hard to find.
Yeah.
But she's wanting to stay under a couple 100,000. So for that, closer to 150 to 175 ideally, and then she's also open to looking at multifamily. So that one, I believe she said all the way up to 350. So
Okay.
There's some flexibility there. So I'm just continuing to search. She's still, I think, needing to get pre-approved, but so she's working through that. But I'm not worried about their pre-approval. I'm just trying to find them a place. But anyway, yeah, working through that. And I'm encountering a lot of properties that say, you know, the listing agency is Opendoor. And so I just wanted to get your input on that. It seems like there's an adjustment to the commission and then just a kind of a whole different process. So do you know anything about that?
About so your question is just kind of you wanting to know more about the process with Opendoor.
Yeah, like I guess advantages, disadvantages.
So
if you
really
have any experience.
Yeah, so really there's maybe one or two advantages of going with Opendoor, and I wouldn't call them advantages. It's really just preferences. So the main reason why Opendoor is sexy, right? The reason why people like to go to Opendoor is because they, especially right now with COVID, is they don't want people in their house, right? They don't want people coming in and out. They don't want to have to deal with the showings, and they just don't want to mess with it. The problem with Opendoor is they overpromise and underdeliver. And that's really what I would be telling these clients that you've talked to that may want to go with Opendoor, is they always overpromise and they underdeliver, right? Whereas us as the agents, we try our hardest to underpromise and overdeliver, right? We're the complete opposite.
Right.
What Opendoor does is, let's say this house on market is worth 250,000, just ballpark. What
Right.
they're gonna do is they're gonna say, okay, Mr. Seller, well, we think we can get $250,000 on market, but if we give you, a cash offer today, blah, 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 it's gonna be 240, right? So yeah, you lose 10,000, but then you don't have to deal with the hassle of going through all this extra BS. Right, no
Right.
showings, no nothing, no nothing, no nothing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lock it up under 240. And then and then they'll do an option period. So they'll do one, they'll send out a local representative to the house, and then they'll see, okay, well, I need to fix this, blah, 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 blah. And then you're down, and then you're probably down another 40K. So Open Door is not just an iBuyer just to buy houses. Open Door is an investment company, right? So they
I
buy
see.
houses at a 20% to 30 to 40% discount so that they can go and fix everything that they said they're going to fix and then market it back up. And they're still making about a 5 to 8% return on their investments. So it's a smaller investment than a normal investor would take, which is a normal investor would take anywhere from let's say a 9 to an 18% return, just if it makes sense for them or not. But because
Right.
Open Door buys so many houses at a time, they're okay with 5% returns. They're okay with 9,
Right.
8% returns, right? Because they're doing so much volume. But in order to do that, they have to get the price down. So in order to kind of combat that, and telling those people that want to explore Open Door is let them know, hey, I guarantee you I can get you more money, because what Open Door does is they flash you a nice 240 or a nice, like, maybe 1-2% under marking price, but then they come and bring you down. And then in their
Right.
language, if you don't use them on the buy side or there's something else, you automatically pay them almost an 8% commission. You pay them almost about an 8% realty commission if you don't use them on the back end. So when you use them to sell,
Right.
you use them to sell the property to Open Door, and they get a commission. And then if you elect to not use them, use that same agent for the buy, then you get charged even more upfront. But if you don't use them on the back end, then they give you some sort of little discount. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I'm more encountering it on the end where they have properties listed and it says Open Door Trust as
Okay.
the owner.
Uh-huh.
And so from the buying side, just, I'm noticing like there's a reduction in commission for those
Yeah.
listings, but also I just wondered if there was any sort of other red tape to be aware of.
Not really. I mean, I've sold a few Open Door houses to my buyers. There's really not much difference. The only thing is, yes, because they are a larger conglomerate, they're very stingy about giving back anything, about any repairs,
Okay.
about any concessions, about all these things, because they can wait. And I don't know if you've noticed, but typically whenever you see an Open Door listing, they tend to be on market longer.
Yeah, I've been noticing that, but a lot of them in that investor price range are Open Door right now. So I just, I just kind of wondered how that process worked.
So for them, they may be in that scenario where they know they don't have to do the work and they can still find a buyer. So it just,
Right.
their model probably just changed a little bit into more of a wholesale model. So, hey, we're going to buy your house at super discount, and then we're just going to throw it back on the market because we know we can't.
Right. Yeah.
And that's kind
Yeah.
of where they're at. And a lot of the times when I've been in Open Door homes, they kind of don't do the best job on
Yeah.
renovations. They kind of skip a lot of corners because they just hire random people. They don't really go and check on the properties. And they kind of do not the best work. They kind of just clean it up, get it ready, and make it look somewhat presentable, because at the moment they know they're going to end up finding a buyer, because somebody's going to just say, you know what, this is the last one available. There's nothing else. I'm tired of looking, and let's just go ahead and buy this one.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've been noticing just all around, just even their listing sucks. Yeah, the pictures aren't very good. Just kind of a very minimal effort. So yeah, good to know, good info to know. There's so many of them that they've listed that, I was curious about that.
Yeah. It's just they probably just changed their model a little bit and they're not going so high end anymore or like doing the full rehab or the full renovations. They're just doing the bare minimum to get it past qualifications and then popping it
Right.
back to market.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Of course. All right, guys. Well, if y'all, does anybody else have any questions? Good to
I have a
go?
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Off market listings, are we required to enter those into MLS?
You're not required to, no.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a,
No, I
a
mean,
rule.
you're not technically required to, and that's kind of a good thing too. So one scenario, right, is let's say you're doing an investment or you're doing something in that neighborhood and you do an off-market sale. Now you know personally that things
Right.
will appraise, that things
Yeah.
will go. So if you do have another deal in that same neighborhood and the appraiser's like, hey, where did you comp this? Hey, I have an appraisal in my hand. So
Right.
you can use this, and that's kind of an advantage for you over anybody else because they don't know that that pop in the market is there yet.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep. That's what I thought about yesterday, and I thought I better just check that if
Yeah.
I'm required to as a realtor, but I'm
No,
having
and the only thing when you're required to is when you have a listing, right? So when you're in the
Oh, with a listing
that's when
agreement.
it says I am going to put it in MLS or I'm not going to put it in MLS.
Okay,
So if
great.
you don't have a listing agreement or if you chose that box, then or if you're the buyer and you're buying it from Joe Schmo that doesn't have a listing agreement, then there's really no need to put it in MLS because there was no designation that we were going to.
Okay. Good.
Cool.
Mhm.
Alrighty, guys. Well, then that's kind of it. I wish y'all a great rest of your week, and I will touch base with you all a little bit later. And if y'all need anything at all, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you. Hope you
Of
feel
course.
better.
Bye, guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.
Thanks.